welcome to Failing Daily CEO AI version. This is actually take two or part two of our what has become a series now of talking about doing roundtables and talking about AI with our folks. So all the folks here tonight are GovCon CEOs and founders that have experience now in the industry, a lot of different backgrounds that I'm excited to have. Special thanks to Dondre, who is an F-Dog, Failing Daily Original, for inviting folks, and he must have something on them because they all accepted. It was 8 out of 8 or 7 out of 7, so that was nice. So anyway, I'm Bill Williams. Obviously, I do the Failing Daily thing, and I'm looking forward to tonight. So tonight, this is really more of a practical conversation, like I guess maybe even a working conversation. Hopefully, we can all learn something and get some ideas from each other, and for our fans out there, which there's at least a couple so far. Talking about AI and how it impacts us. And of course, the backdrop to all of it is always, for me anyway, about failing daily, because it is kind of my thing. And I'm finding myself having a good laugh about how stupid I am often. So I hope you guys can too. So if we could start, we'll just go around the room and, start over here and introduce yourself, and then I'll ask a few questions.
Sure. My name is Chris Larkin. I'm the CEO and founder of the LMR Technical Group. We've been in business about 7.5 years. We're a GovCon services company. I'd say the majority of our work is in the human performance space, with about 280 people on contract, mostly supporting the Air Force, but we also support the Army and Special Operations. Happy to be here.
Glad to have you.
I'm Ron Jones, CEO of G2X. We are a GovCon go-to-market platform serving thousands of federal contractors, your mega primes, your tiny, micro, small businesses, helping them identify and win government contracts.
Nice. Okay. I am Natasha Velez, the CEO of NVS Strategic Solutions, founder of GovCon Queens, and CEO of NVS Federal. So we do government contracting all the way from capture management to proposal development and support small businesses and getting in the government contracting space. We also do a women-only membership where we support all women in government contracting and support them in their journeys in order to help them and support them in getting their government contracts. And then we also do NVS Federal, where we do medical staffing for the Army and the VA.
I'm Alexa Choi, and I'm the CEO of Forum, and I am also a business partners with Ron Jones, sort of the go-to-market lead for G2 Exchange. At Forum, we are maybe 10, 11 years in business. We're one of the biggest GovCon events companies, and Cass over there, she's one of my teammates on the event side. And then also we own a very rapidly growing, sort of stressfully growing consulting company around go-to-market. So I realized last year that BD and capture is dead, and everybody's doing go-to-market to sort of rapidly catch up with the products companies that are coming into GovCon, because all solutions companies are becoming product companies. So that's sort of what's happening, and we're having a good time with it. Disrupted stuff.
All right, I want to talk later. Mm-hmm. I want to hear what that's all about.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
Really? That was interesting. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've done my thing, so you're up.
Is that me?
Good luck.
Thank you. I'm Rebecca Aguilera Gardner. I'm the CEO and co-founder for Veterans in Business Network. We help connect veteran-owned businesses to corporations and government agencies for contracting opportunity. We are a nonprofit. One of the things that makes us most unique is that we don't charge the veterans to be part of our directory, to participate in any of our business development programs. We have everything from a Bravo corporate mentor veteran business protege program where you get one-on-one with a corporation and they walk you through how to work with a corporation. We also had a V2V program, which is a veteran-to-veteran business cohort program, where it actually helps you become a better leader and an owner in your own business. So, but I'm very excited. But we do lean on our corporate partners, some government agencies, to help us so that we can offer this free to the veteran business community. I come from a family-owned printing business, and when things are great, things are great. But when they suck, they suck. And so one of the things that why we started the VIB is because when you're struggling in business and you're not paying your membership fee or you're not paying your fee to get your certification, you might not hear from them. So we wanted to be a constant. We didn't want you to, once you join the network, you are part of our network then. So.
All right.
Okay.
Positive reinforcement. DeAndre Lawson, CEO of Emerald Technical Solutions. Right now we are in CMMC.
F-Dog, don't you introduce yourself as F-Dog?
F-Dog
I want
veteran.
that everywhere you go.
Okay, F-Dog veteran, Army veteran. We're in CMMC Olympics, so we're helping folks get compliant, right, through assessments. We're helping with the assessments. We have a federal team where we're working with the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, FAA, FedSim as well. And then we have an MSP side of the house where we've been helping folks build out tenants and get compliant on that side. And I'm happy to be here for a second time with you, Bill. Great.
All right. Hi, I'm Jack Smith. I'm the CEO of Fortuna BMC. We are an IT consulting and staffing company at our core. But what we do is grow fast. So we were twice one of the 100 fastest growing veteran-owned businesses in America, growing from 40 to 800 employees in 9 months.
Holy
Talk about
wow.
failure central.
Ouch.
I got stories for days. So just pick your topic. We've screwed it up at least twice. What I do is help connect veterans, reservists, and spouses to the jobs of the future, in particular in the new space economy. So I do a lot of work with the Space Force Association and community building and really kind of creating those new jobs. And actually, Dondre and I have a joint venture we're going to be launching here at the conference that is targeted on some classified Space Force and Air Force work that we're going to be going after.
That's great.
Awesome.
Glad to be
40 to 800. You're alive. 40 to 800.
I mean,
I did like
sure
20
determination. I'm a cockroach. You can't kill me.
Yeah. I feel like we did like 50, I don't know, whatever, 25 to 100 at one point, and I think it almost killed me.
We hired 300 souls in 72 hours.
Oh my God.
Successfully.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, that's kind of awesome.
Under California law.
That's pretty cool.
That's all.
What?
now-
No,
California,
really?
all Californians.
Seriously?
I
Oh,
gotta
that's-
ask about
that's
the
times two.
how the SpaceX IPO may be affecting you guys, if at all. But we don't have to have that recorded. But I'm curious.
We can talk about it later, but honestly, the big guys aren't the ones that move the market.
That is impressive.
They're
all these
doing their
nuggets.
own thing,
There's
and
so
they
many
don't
companies
need
that are
a small.
supporting SpaceX as
Not the big
suppliers,
guys.
right?
SpaceX don't give a. They're doing their own thing. Yeah, they have a few like small core suppliers that come
Yeah.
up in the early days, but like the whole ecosystem that's currently
Fully
growing right
vertically
now, all the
integrated.
new stuff, they're not listening.
Wow.
Damn.
They got their trajectory and
Okay.
they're on it, and yeah, they're looking for the opportunities, but they don't need anybody.
So let me call an audible just for a second. I'll give a short example, but have you had your AI moment, and what is that? So like for me, the AI moment for me was like, I had that moment where I was like, holy crap. So I basically went and I built a couple of videos using AI. I went back and I asked, what did I do in the last 3 months that was cool? And I ended up creating a video from it and the whole thing. And I just couldn't believe, and that just launched me into, I'm a history major and I'm programming. Don't even get me started. You should see the stuff I'm doing. It's insanity. And people in my company, I'm pushing them. You can't. The developers, I'm like, stop. Don't tell me you can't do this because I just did it last night. I go back and I do it myself. I've had enough.
Here's the code. You can check it in. You
Well,
right.
Now, of course, now in reality, I did really 30% of the work, and it's not secure and all that stuff.
Well-
but I'm pushing the envelope. So anyway, that was kind of my moment that led to these things. So if everyone has, you sound like you have a moment.
I was going to say, you can ask Alexa how it's been. So the backstory, Alexa was, before she moved over to Forum full time, she was really deeply involved in helping, grow G2X to what it is today. But, Alexa, calls me Storm and Norman because, I haven't been a software engineer professionally for 18 years, like something like that. But, I got introduced to Claude Code and then Codex. And
We're gonna do a project together.
And I've got what they call AI psychosis right now, which is like, I'll put it this way. So Mark Andreessen, Andreessen Horowitz said, well, there's a misconception that AI, was going to make people work less, but then it creates these vampires. And I'm one of those vampires. So I'm up, working, 4 o'clock in the morning on a regular
I got some
basis,
friends
just
like that.
building stuff. I've got my Slack is going off right now because I have agents that are like working and asking me to review their work on GitHub as we speak. Like my phone is blowing up in my pocket, which is why my phone is perpetually dead. So Alexa knows this, but engineers would say, "Hey, this is going to take 6 months." No, dude, it's going to take tonight. I just did it, and you're going to review it, right? And so now it's not that we're trying to replace people with AI. It's just that it makes you that much. It amplifies whatever you're good at and whatever you're bad at. So, so I'll say that.
Yeah.
But for engineering, AI writes 99%, if not 100% of our code, at least for our first pass at G2X. Humans still review. I still review code, but AI, like humans are not allowed to make a first pass at code. For us, it was, when I realized that I could contribute meaningfully to our roadmap as CEO and still have time to do my own job, right? All the other jobs I do as a bootstrap, profitable business.
Chief Everything Officer.
Yes. And that was so empowering for me. And it's just like, it was like the first time I discovered that I could build my own computer. It was like, I don't know, I was like 7 or 8 years old. I was like, so I can put these parts together and make my own
All
thing.
right, let me ask you, how many agents do you have working for you?
Depends on the day. I mean,
Just
today,
in general.
it usually I'm running at least 20 to 40 at a time.
And do you feel like those agents are the equivalent of 20 to 40 people doing the work?
No, it's a deeper conversation.
Okay,
It's
let's get back to that because I agree
Yes,
with you.
It is not the same.
AI moments, anybody else?
I was going to say that I haven't had an AI moment, but I've had like a AI pushing people to want to be better humans and more human-y moment. You know what I mean? Like I'm a big community person, and Ron will tell you when he was trying to poach me from my previous company, I said, I'll come work for you, but we have to launch community. That's like, it has to be written in the contract. Like I'm super serious about it. And so I feel like for forever, community hasn't been something that people make money on. So it's something that companies do for free. You'll see like, oh, we have a Slack community, we have a Discord, we have that, and that's where the community lives. Community is about to become real profitable. Real profitable as people want a human more and AI less. So that's my AI moment.
Yeah,
I have an AI moment. So we write proposals, obviously. And everybody and their mother thinks that ChatGPT is going to write your proposal for you, and that's going to be the end all be all, right? And then we saw these proposals come out, and they all look the same, right? So everybody's doing the same. We're saying that we can do everything. It's almost like we're boasting about ourselves, and it's egocentric, I would say, when you look at proposals nowadays. But we lost the point. The point was about the end result, was the agency, the pain points, the client. And it's a lot of people using ChatGPT that understand the concept of sales, which is not about you respectfully. Nobody cares about you. It's about the end goal, which is the solution that to the problem that you're solving. So everyone says, repeats the solicitation. Everybody's using ChatGPT, and the best proposal writers are the ones that can outsource or, just literally make it look pretty, right? But it's all AI, and it's almost like we stopped thinking. So when we started hiring proposal writers, I noticed a common theme where everybody was doing the same thing. Every proposal sounded the same. We're this, we're that, we're this, we're that. And I'm like, the government doesn't care. And the realism of it all is, where's the risk? Where's the honesty of, we're not this, but this is why we have created this risk mitigation strategy to essentially say, if this issue happens, this is what we're going to do to fix it, because we're not all perfect. And so that was what was missing. So we hired a bunch of AI, because that's not me at all. We hired a bunch of AI experts, and we said, all right, we sat down and we had a whole roundtable, and we talked about what we want to see in an actual product that does proposal writing, because we're going to hire all these proposal writers, and at the end of the day, they're still going to use ChatGPT, and they're not going to know the prompts to use, and they're not going to know the solutions, and they're not going to understand the concept of it. So how do we make it so that it's already built in? And so we created a custom NVS proposal kind of filter, where it's like, We sat there and put all of our data dump, all of our knowledge, all of our capture knowledge, our business development. And for every client, they have their own workspace and all of their intelligence is in there. And it is FedRAMP. It costs a lot of money, but it's FedRAMP in order for us to be CMMC levels of compliant. So we went and we did all those things, but we said, this is what we want you to always keep in mind. Do not repeat the solicitation. Do not just say lies, but say what really matters. And we have prompts where our proposal writers have to read and understand and answer before they can even get anything out of it. Because if you're not thinking and you're using AI to think for you, then you're not using AI correctly.
So can I remind me to come back to how does a client of yours have their unique knowledge and capability, not the
Do their
proprietary secret
SharePoint
stuff,
and
but,
all the things they give
yeah,
us.
how do they differentiate themselves from like my proposal or something? Like, 'cause I think that's worth talking about.
We
But
do a whole
let me
thing.
come
That
back
is a
and-
good point.
Yeah,
That
let
is
me
a
come
good
back to
point.
that and just see if I've got any other quick AI moments we want to.
For us, the last 2 bids that we wrote, they were probably 90% of AI was written, and it goes back to like prompt engineering. So like we've written a lot of proposals like manually, right? And so when we're prompt engineering about how we're utilizing AI to then respond to things, that is what is happening, right? While it's going on. I think what a lot of people, both the seller and the buyer in any situation, what's starting to happen now is it's like orals and or can you show me, right? And so one of the contracts that we wrote, we won it, and it took us probably 2 days to write it. If we're talking normal, like red team, pink team, gold, the gold
All the
team,
Shipleys.
and then we're white gloving it, and then it's going to go through another review, right? That process is elongated, and it takes some time. But now we're like, well, I can push a proposal out. I can respond to something in a day or two based off of what, especially if we've written something similar in the past. And then we're going to go back and really our red team is us reviewing what was written. And I think everyone has to understand like orals. And so I think AI is just going to change the job market for BD people. And it's like, hey, I'm not looking for BD people. I'm looking for oral coaches.
So what you're saying is you're looking for storytellers. And I'm also going to petition for it to be called the confetti team review, where it's all the colors mixed together and you only do one instead of many. It's sort of like the new agile.
Yeah, that's I like confetti team review. That's cool. But when we talk about, okay, we can write it, and then we're gonna need, if it's BD people, how good are you at orals?
There's no such thing as BD anymore. It's go to market.
We're transitioning. We're transitioning.
We are not
All right.
transitioning. It's there.
We're transitioning. BD, go to market people. What are we talking about when we're saying, hey, can you go to the customer and do orals? Normally, if we're doing orals, it's me, my CTO, some of our technical people. But if there's a lot of BD people out there like, hey, I can win you work. And it's like, well, I got some 20-year-olds in here that built me a chatbot, and they got agents that are running, and the agents is telling me, because SAM.gov is public, agents are telling me what I could bid on Fridays, and I pay them $15 an hour. Right. And so I think that change is what's really kind of revamping what's going on. And then still, there's still like, you still need your Natasha, you still need your Alexas, you still need your BD people, your go-to-market people to review things. But if it's different for what are you putting the money to win the bid, then that's what we want to do.
Right. So I grew up in the 90s where it was really cool to be skinny. I'm talking like Twiggy skinny, like super, super skinny. And then somewhere in like the mid 2000s, it became cool to have like curves and be thick and all these other things. And I was like, my time has arrived. I'm a thick girl. Yes. Finally, people that are people first, storytellers, people that are authentic humans that are not, sorry, Ron, like drone bots who are like AI bots. I'm just saying, she had too many free drinks.
And he's a drone bot.
I'm
not even here.
You said you wanted the drama.
I'm just saying, like, people that don't people well are going to have a harder time in the future than people who are storytellers and people first. And the time is coming for us, just like for the thick girls. Am I right?
Yeah, fuck
yeah. So wait. Let me jump in on that and just say, So it's interesting. Some of you have talked about your AI moment as more of a human moment, which is so interesting. It's so interesting, right? So it's
Your human
it's,
moment is
the
your
AI,
differentiator
the AI
now.
take, what is it like? So you answer this, like, or no, you answer this. Your answer. So the AI does certain things for you, but there's this human component that becomes so much more important. Why is that? Like, why are they talking about the human
good
moment?
point.
But we're talking about
Yeah.
we're programming at 4 in the
Well, I'm
morning
saying
because
the
it's
humans
cool.
have to review,
Yeah.
like for our case,
Yeah.
it
Well,
was
I-
humans reviewing code. Yeah.
I would just say I think at this point we don't trust what AI is producing. And so you have to have a human in the loop to review whatever function AI is doing for you. And I'm behind the power curve in this conversation because I was at Veteran Edge, and the guy who gave the AI presentation, I was like, holy cow, that I need that. Like, I realized at that time all of the hard work that I'd done over the last 12 or 13 years of writing proposals from
Ron and I can just program it for
all
you.
the
Just
way
let us
down,
know.
right?
2
Like
seconds down.
I'm way behind the power curve, and so it is here, and you are right. And I did orals earlier this year on a proposal, and going to do orals again, sometime later this year. It is going to be more about orals.
Yeah.
And the difference, though, is that if you're using AI correctly, you can produce 100 proposals as opposed to 30 proposals.
And that's
And-
where the art
Yeah.
of AI comes in.
That's
and
right.
that's what's going to really differentiate humans in this next evolution
Yeah.
is what can I give you? Can you shape a question and infiltrate your perspective and your thoughts? Like when I ask AI a question, I don't just wait for it to give me an answer. I tell it the answer I want. I think, give me a proposal. It looks like this. I'm going to answer it this way. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I'm going to add these bits and pieces so it looks like me. It's not just letting the AI come up with whatever it can do.
Right.
And
People are
that's
lazy.
what's going
That's
to
the
shape
Yeah,
the
so-
difference
And
between
that's
the AI
I
job.
got a
common
couple
now.
thoughts.
So we
on-
just talked about this, and this is
good
kind of
majority
this
of
isn't
people
in
agree.
because we're all in GovCon space, and so me and Ron a couple of days were texting about we'll just say digital twin, right? And so if I could clone everyone in this room and put those people in a digital room and say I want to respond to this, right? Respond to it. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. And then I want those agents or those digital twins to then argue with each other on points about what was written. I want each individual person
that.
to write
That's your
about how
confetti
they
team.
would
Fair
do it,
enough.
right? Because
I like that.
that's what happened. What would happen normally
Yeah.
in a BD team? Hey, your pricing is too high for this customer, right? Our GSA rates aren't really matching with what where we are historically, or this customer likes to purchase or buy things differently, right? Like intellectual or historical evidence and knowledge about what's going on when you go bid on a customer, right? There's plenty of people that are at this conference that have tons of contracts with the VA and know everything there is to know about the VA, right? And they have a whole team like, we're VA experts. Well, I want you guys to start brain dumping into this thing, not so it can replace you, so it can make you better, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I
Feed you
mean,
what you need.
just a couple of thoughts on the macro, right? I think GovCon, like we just spent a lot of time in GovCon, from an advanced technology perspective, at least. Actually, I'll preface that by saying, Anduril and Palantir and some of the others are doing great things as far as advanced technology is concerned. But when it comes to consumer adjacent technology, they'll take Claude or ChatGPT. In the macro, perspective, you see things like dynamic workflows that were just released by Claude a week ago or so that do exactly what you just said and what you said. Give it the outcome, figure out how to get there. You're smart enough at this point, and you're good enough at extracting context, which is what everything about AI is context. Extracting context from humans and teams of humans to figure out how to get to the end goal. And I'll challenge anyone that says like it's just about storytelling. It's also about receipts, right? I mean, look at Peter Steinberger, the guy that created OpenClaw. I'm sure you guys have heard of OpenClaw. He got a job at OpenAI for creating the most prolific, fastest growing open source AI assistant project that was ever created. There are so many GovCon businesses I talk to that are running OpenClaw in their company today, doing things on their behalf. This guy got a job not by saying how good he was or how he could do the thing that he's promising that he can do, but by showing it publicly. He's got a public GitHub. I use OpenClaw. We have an OpenClaw agent in our company right now. So orals are great, but like, where have you done this before? Like, can you show me right now? Like, build it right now. If I were the government buying and I had somebody come into my office trying to pitch me something, I'm like, build it. You have 6 hours.
So
Like,
can I
give
pause
me
you?
something working.
Can I pause you right
That's
there?
how it works, right?
So the trouble is the government buys base plus 4. You all know that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right now.
we actually have a talk coming up
Today.
next month where the government's going to be one of the panelists. Like, how do you buy AI from a solutions-based company? That's not how they buy. They don't buy consumption-based pricing. They buy base plus 4 usually. So how do they buy AI like this? That's the question.
So my challenge is, like, consumption-based is one model, but so outcome-based is another. Look at SpaceX, for example. They live and die by outcomes, and they're about to launch
on the
at
agency,
the
too.
most. What is the IPO price? The IPO market?
1.5 trillion.
$1.5 trillion. By far dwarfs anything ever in history.
Yeah, but SpaceX also has this like a small percentage of their business is GovCon. Most of it's commercial, and the government wants to move commercial, so that makes sense. But you can't use their model and say, "Oh, GovCon's going to swing that way." GovCon is still buying base plus
The
4.
meta is moving in that direction. For example, one of our advisors, a guy by the name of Jaime Gracia, posted on LinkedIn yesterday or today. He was talking about how, okay, well, if industry, and you know Jaime pretty well, you guys are speaking together.
We're speaking together at World Partners.
And so he talked about this. He was like, okay, well, industry is using AI to write proposals. Government, are you disclosing that you're using AI to evaluate proposals? Because have you guys heard of the term AI slop?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
you have
I
slop.
haven't.
Okay,
What is
AI
that?
slop is basically,
No.
if you have just AI outputs that have the EM dashes, which I'm a big fan of EM dashes, but apparently they're AI slop now. But things in unnecessary bullet points and like certain phrasing.
It's not this, it's that.
It's not this, it's
Yeah,
that,
it's the way
and
it goes.
so if you have AI slop
Anything
output
that looks
and
like
then
AI.
AI slop, on the other end evaluating AI,
Mm-hmm.
then, like, to your point, none of that matters. What matters is, can you show me how you do what you do and why this is going to work out? Why should I do business with you?
I think also for like procurement, right? Like obviously the DAU or the WAU, whatever the name is now, about how the government procures and buys thing, acquisition, or how hard is this contract vehicle for us to get on, like like things like that. I think that's also going to change. Like obviously, the Secretary of Defense, Mr. Hegseth, was like, we need to buy faster, we need to purchase faster. So then you saw that $30 billion IDIQ link that came out for Anduril, right? Was it Anduril, right? They came out and it's like, well, we can buy anything off of that, and it's immediate, like purchase, right? And so you see the increased spending amongst like, what can we buy on a GPC, or like, what's the sole source amount and things like that, because people are responding faster. And if the government puts out a solicitation, right, they go, hey, this contract vehicle glass of water now is $1 trillion, and we want everyone to bring it. Let's just talk about trade winds for a second, and everyone throwing their AI things into trade winds, and you're like, okay, now we have to evaluate 200 different AI solutions to whatever issues that we might have put out, like against CBERs, against SCTRs, against trade winds. How are we evaluating it? Humans, right? Because now the government's also like, well, we need a system to evaluate this, so let's put out another bid to have a system evaluate AI proposals also in the process too. So it's
So you got
it's
AI
like
evaluating
this.
AI,
And
yes,
so it
and
all
that's what it
reduces
is.
itself back to the first principles, which are like, how did you trust someone back when you were bartering with them, right? Like, okay, I know you make this thing really well. It's a relationship game.
It is.
No, it validates your point, Alexa, because it's still a human at the end of the day, but you still have to have competence. You still have to be able to demonstrate competence on a given thing. So I think we're going back to source on that. However, it doesn't take away from the fact that, AI, when you deploy it in such a way that you're able to manage context, take into account all the organizational DNA, to your point, that goes into creating a coherent solution that it's never going to be deterministic, but it's good enough, right? And you can use evaluation, so evals, to trace the outputs of AI every time. Of course, another human job, right? I think it's a gigantic force multiplier, and I'll push back on the argument. I used to be, AI is going to take jobs away, but I think actually it creates more opportunity for humans to do
All right. So
the most
so
important
having
work.
said that, like let's talk about how it affects our employees, how we communicate this to our employees, and what we think is going to happen, right? Because you just said, right? I think it's going to create more opportunity. Well,
Yeah.
half of our employees are like, well, crap, I'm going to lose my job. I
And there
don't
are
wanna do
people
this.
losing their jobs. We cannot ignore that simple
Yeah.
fact.
There are.
So talk
You
about it.
might lose employees, but you'll gain employers.
I think
Because
You have an opportunity to do
Wait,
different
wait.
things.
Say that
Talk
again?
on that a little
You
bit.
might
you'll
Wait,
lose
expand.
employees, but you'll gain employers.
They're going to create their own.
They're creating their own. You're seeing people get tired of the same rigmarole. And now with AI, they're more
Agreed.
empowered to create their own companies because you can use AI to be
I would have killed for it.
essentially the employees that you couldn't afford previously.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
okay.
Oh, I would have killed for AI. I mean, I started 12 years
Amen.
ago, nights and weekends working for somebody else,
Yep.
writing my proposals
I
until
gotta
2
tell
o'clock in the
you,
morning after
I
everybody gone to
started
bed.
off as a CFO, and I remember the days when I did indirect rates, and it was 27 motherfucking tabs of indirects and financials, and now I can do that within 5 seconds of Claude, and I just want to throw someone. I'm like, what?
Right? All right.
Because I can do it way faster.
So you can
But
start
what's
a-
going to free you up? It's just like the Industrial Revolution,
Correct.
right? So I think there's I think there's a gap here too. So I think the age of trading hours for dollars is near its end.
Right.
Amen.
And that's what you're feeling with
Yes.
those job shifts. Those
Yep.
jobs are going to shift from hours for dollars
Yes.
to outcomes for dollars.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't
Yep.
care how many people you do it. You can do it at Aruba with 47 agents because they don't all count as one.
Right.
So
But
the
what can you
government,
get the
the
job
government's
done?
going to buy that way too. All your services companies need to rebrand as solutions companies that are
Yep.
product companies selling outcomes. So
Absolutely.
branding is a big part of what we do. We rebrand all these services companies. So if y'all want to get rebranded, holler at your girl, okay?
I got
Right?
No.
Exactly. So here's the thing,
that
right?
card.
These companies are so tied into their services,
Yep.
staffing. I heard you say it. I cringed a little bit. I'm sorry. You need to talk outcomes. Outcomes. Everything you say,
points.
everything you say is outcomes. So this is where it's going. It's all heading there. I totally agree with what you're saying. But at the end of the day, it's moving so fast that we're gonna hit that point where everybody that is building the AI, the Palantirs, the Anduril, all these guys are gonna be like, wow, if everybody loses their job, nobody's gonna be able to buy anything. The economy's gonna tank. So it's gonna have to bounce back. And you're right. It's just like the Industrial Revolution. 100% agree with you.
I think we still have time, right? I think we're
Right.
still
Agreed.
5 to 7 years before we start seeing impact on like people losing their jobs. Like at least for businesses
know.
for businesses that
I
are
don't
less
think
than
on that.
1,000 people, right? If I'm Apple and I go, hey, you guys can automate what? How many people will we remove if we can push that out? 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people. Do it now. I'm saving massive amounts of revenue, 401ks, insurance, liability.
Yeah.
You can replace all my junior people 100%. Do it.
Yeah.
Why would I not do that right before us and everyone here works in the GovCon space or has a business that helps GovCon people to connect with suppliers or things like that. I don't think we're there yet. I think it is coming. I think what we're seeing right now is everyone is using it for bidding and proposals, right? But that's because of that's how the government buys. The government
Right.
buys on you can do single year option year with or award year with the 4-year option years,
Right.
or you can do 5 years. That is currently how the government is purchasing. When the government goes, hey, I want this shit built in 1 year, and this is what we're paying. We're gonna do FFP. How much is it gonna cost to build this? You got 1 year.
So
That is what's coming. That's what's coming with AI, right? When the government goes to look and say, hey, I need this thing bought or purchased, unless you're DISA and you're running the service desk and there's a bunch of OCONUS and CONUS situations for people all over the place, you're going to need those individuals. But like I gave you a perfect example. Today on the plane, I had to call Delta. I got an automated AI person that I had to talk to for at least 10 minutes before I got a real person. I was like, I just want to talk to a real person. I'm dealing with this issue, and now those call center people, and you're the call center man, right? You're call center Jesus, right? Those call center individuals gone away, right? Like, or excuse me, getting repurposed.
They're getting augmented,
right? Getting augmented,
They're
and like
using the chatbot. And picking up
even
what
for us internally, for our business, like we gave our CTO Claude, and it's like having 10 CTOs. He can do whatever he wants, right? Because he understands, like, you give good software engineers AI and they know how to use AI, they can do whatever they want.
I
Right?
have so much, and I can co-sign. I work with Dondre CTO pretty often, and we just get lost and create great things together. But another thing, though, like, isn't Department of War pioneering outcomes-based, pricing? I mean, I think I could be wrong, but I thought I saw something.
They're trying to figure it out.
The
They're
Space
trying to figure it
Force
out.
in particular.
At least they're
is
talking
leaning
about
on
it, though.
that
They're
way,
like,
but-
I mean, they do know that's where they're going.
If you got time and materials
But they're not
there
contracts,
yet.
it's probably not. We're not playing that game anymore, right?
Yeah. If they switch and go, we will pay you your first paycheck when we have this milestone.
Yeah.
Definition
Change
of
the
done.
game.
Definition
Right.
of
Like
done. Make it a company.
deliverables.
So and that goes a little bit back to like the macro thing I've been talking about. I see like Department of War, at least recently, signaling that they're operating more in the world of what United States commercial market is doing, which it could just be all talk, but I'm not as close to it as you guys. But another thing too is just about the point of people losing their jobs, right? If you think about the amount of hiring of quote unquote email jobs that was done in 2020, 2021, you guys know what I mean by an email job?
Yeah.
Okay. So the amount of hiring for those kind of roles,
Well, let's assume for a second that everyone
Yeah,
doesn't know.
I
What's an
mean-
email job?
you think about, a job that, can or has been easily condensed by someone that understands how to use AI for not just, a particular job function, but a collective of job functions. Let's say product management, design, and engineering. That's a combination that was, done by a group of people. There are a lot of product managers that are really have been just kind of marshaling folks on meetings for lack. I hate to reduce the role, but I mean, big tech did hire a lot of those individuals, right? And that's a job function that can be done by someone with sufficient understanding of, how to use Codex or Claude Code today, right? And I say email job because again, it's like the remote era, we're in COVID, that kind of thing. It's a controversial take. However, you don't need those roles anymore. And did they really justify their existence prior to those hires? Is the question I think we should be asking ourselves. People aren't necessarily losing their jobs. It's just kind of companies are being fiscally responsible. And it's a tough pill to swallow, but that's just what it is.
It's jobs that don't necessarily need a human to
Exactly.
be done, which is really where the Industrial Revolution, it freed people to do more value-added tasks.
And
And
exactly. And the guise of all the tech CEOs firing because AI has made them more efficient is really a get out of jail free card because you weren't a fiscally responsible CEO in the first place.
So I got a question. So what do we call him? Help Desk Jesus or what?
Help
was
de-
Help Desk Jesus.
What?
Do you use AI conversations and do more with it and keep the same number of people? Do a lot less with a number, like have a lot less number of people? Like, how do you view that?
it's evolving. Right now, it's about the same number of people, and they're starting to add.
So
and
better
then
service,
as-
more service.
Correct.
But same number of
But
people.
as we attrit, we're seeing that we don't need to add back because we're able to meet our service levels. So it's really all about, can you produce outcomes? It doesn't matter how many headcount. It's how many contacts. Does everybody who needed help get help? Yes, they did. Great job.
All right. So I think you answered the question, but let me just say this. I was having a conversation a couple months ago, and it was like AT&T or something, like one of my friends that runs a group for AT&T. But they were saying that they kind of had this goal of we're going to reduce our workforce from 10,000 to 6,000 or something, but have the same service. And I reacted, and he was surprised. And I was like, I think because of AI, I was like, I think that's insane. I think you have 10,000, but you have double the service. Like I feel like you could get more impact, more market share. You could do it. What's your view of that?
It's a fulcrum. right? So you can choose which do you want. Do you want more resources or do you want more profit at the same amount of customer base, right? Because more people means more problems too. And there are growth strategies to both. And so I think there's not a right or wrong answer there. I think it's more of a question in the mirror. Do you want to do more with less? Or do you want to do more with what you have?
So so everyone's super familiar with
Probably some scale in there.
with GLP drugs right now. The biggest GLP company that sells, or the second biggest, is Hims and Hers.
I'm a big fan of GLPs, by the way.
There's another company
Just
that's doing the
FYI.
GLP pills. It is a two-person business. They are contenders with his and hers, and he made $2.5 billion last year. Him and his brother, and the next closest business is Hims and Hers, and they have 2,400 people. So he's selling, his sales are just as high as Hims and Hers with 2 people. He has contractors now, but everything is automated. AI, chatbots, the purchasing system is automated. And the doctor, the how it flows over to the doctors that can actually prescribe you the drugs is automation.
And I'll give you a real life example. So I'm the CTO also of a business called VoicePath, and we do voice agents for small businesses. We took a doctor's network in Florida and were able to increase their acceptance rate of just calls by 4,000% in a few months. And the patient satisfaction rate is not, so the outcome and so you did it and how well did you do it?
Correct.
And the patients are like, oh, I got what I needed. Because before I couldn't get through to you guys. You guys didn't have enough people answering the phones. So now we have agents for each doctor in the practice that schedules their appointments, calls their prescriptions in, does all this stuff for them. And it's like, you like, so what do the humans that were doing that job do? They're doing other important stuff for the doctor collective, right? They're not fired. They actually got raised. They all got raises because they're doing more valuable stuff, which makes the doctor practice is still a business. It still has to make money. It still has to make profits, right? They were able to increase the number of patients they see. They were increasing the satisfaction of the patients they already have. And they're also able to, in turn, make more money. So they pay.
Right, so let me ask a question then for everybody. Everybody answer this. Is AI a good thing for our employees, or is it not a good thing?
It depends on the business size.
Yeah,
That's right.
I like that answer. It depends on the
I went out of
business.
turn.
We're going to go around the room.
The army went out of turn.
Good.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. And I mean, I think that's the key answer is that there's good and bad uses for all of it. There are use cases that matter. There are use cases that don't. And it's all about the human in the middle and can they control the prompt of that AI? If they're just asking AI, they throw it the question and let it figure it out, you're going to get the lowest common denominator and everything's going to look the same. But if you ask a detailed question using your experience and your influence and your knowledge and your personality, now you're going to get a different kind of outcome. And that's where I think AI is very helpful, but you wind up with drones otherwise.
For me, it depends on the business size. I think a lot of people, there's scarcity, there's, heartache, there's trauma off of how could Amazon lay off, X amount of employees? Like, if you understand how Amazon warehouse ships you packages in a day, most of those systems are automated. There's just like a person physically coming and delivering a package to you. They're also delivering packages with drones now, right? And so once the full autonomy gets put into place of like, hey, I have a robot, there's a system coming in that can pick your package and now they can deliver that package to you. AI is going to drive humans to being smarter. Because now you're going to be like, well, I got to pay for these kids. I got to pay for this mortgage. I got to pay for this house. I want to save money in my 401k. And I need to ensure that I can utilize AI and be a prompt engineer, be an AI engineer, understand it for whatever use case that business owner is asking for.
So you're not going to answer my question. Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
It's good or bad depending on the business size.
Fair enough.
I would say for me as a small nonprofit, I think it's great because it makes us more efficient. Like I write scripts on it. I do marketing. For us, that's how we use it. We don't do it like you guys. And so we don't live and breathe into that.
Don't say you guys.
You guys.
All right.
Well, you live in this space. And so But for us also, because we're a nonprofit, I would say 80% of probably 90% of our support is from corporations. So I still have to get to know them. I still have to, have meetings and talk about what their expectations are. And that's where AI can't replace that relationship.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're not going
Alexa?
to answer it?
Me? No, I don't want to answer it. I'm like, you That's what you guys are here for. I have no idea.
So we have a sold out event coming up, and I'm going to tell a story in the intro. I have to intro every one of our events. And I'm going to talk about how when I took the SAT in high school, which I scored very poorly on, in the reading comprehension test, they talked about the concept of email. And I remember reading about it, and I was like, oh my God, if this was actually going to really happen, it would change the world. But at that point in time, I didn't know how it was going to change the world. And we're at that point right now with AI. So I'm going to say TBD.
Fair enough.
That was fair.
TBD.
That was
Fair
good.
enough. But you don't get off the hook. You got to give it a real answer.
No, I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. Think about it this way. When I used to do taxes as CFO, I used to think like when they first came out where everybody started doing taxes online and you didn't suddenly need a CPA. And I was like, wait, am I the only CPA that no one's going to need ever again? And then it was like a bunch of people trying to do their own taxes. And then what did they do? They didn't know how to use it.
They screwed it up.
They screwed it up and they owed taxes. And what did they do? Came back to tax. They'll be back. I'll be fine. I think it's great for the people that know how to use it. If you educate yourself, like any great technology, any great leverage in this world, there are the people that don't know how to use it and there are people that know how to use it. The people that know how to use it are going to make amazing things happen in their lives and in their businesses. For the people that don't know how to use it, they're going to depend on me. And I'm chilling. So I think it's a good thing.
Man, I want to figure out how controversial I'm going to be.
Here we go.
Get it. It's late. It's late. What time is it?
It's fine. Let it rip, baby.
Part of me is like, asking AI is good or if AI is good or bad. It's like asking if fire or the wheel are good or bad. But, another part of me is like, just as a business leader and just in my own personal life, I think, I like to look at the scoreboard, right? Business has only gotten better since we introduced AI, and our people have only gotten sharper. And I think AI, not only as an assistant, as a teacher of, rote concepts, not anything novel or anything like that. I mean, although there are some scenarios where AI can solve novel math problems and things like that. But I think the biggest unlock for people in business is that AI has unburdened them, for those that have taken the time to invest, unburden them from bullshit. It is like a bullshit shovel. And take the bullshit, give it to the AI, right? And then let it be more human. Because it goes back to Alexa's point, it goes back to a couple of you guys' other points, which is, it's about humanity. And being able to exercise human judgment and taste, I think, are the things that are so important for us. And I think there's one other thing too that I think about. There's a science fiction author by the name of A.G. Riddle, and in one of his books, he talks about, what is the difference between humans and animals? Well, we have an imagination, right? AI has not proven that it hasn't, but imagine being able to get more time to use your imagination. That's how I see AI today, and I think it's the biggest unlock we've ever seen in business and in our personal lives if we choose to use it. But imagine getting more time to exercise.
So can I check you on
imagination.
that? How much extra time have you got?
So much. I'm so inspired right now.
No, but did you get extra time, or are you just completely buried? And remember, I know you, and I work
because you're
so
doing more because you have.
Because I'm so like you think.
So did you get extra time? The answer is yes or no.
Yes, because here's why. People spend time on the things that they care about, and when you're inspired and you go and you're neurodivergent.
No, but did you get extra time to do things?
Yes.
Not that you're doing more.
It's amazing. amazing
More with
because
less.
you're like,
You will
have
do
more
more
hours
with
to do
less.
more. No,
You
it's more
will-
hours to do more.
It's doing
it's like
more.
it goes back, and so
But yeah,
for
you're
the
doing
folks
more.
out
It
there,
really is
like
more.
for those that are not neurodivergent, like you get these
That's the
fixations,
point.
but it's like me with Legos or like video games or whatever the case may be. Like it's like I can do this for hours and hours and hours. It's so much fun. It's so
Yes.
satisfying, and I could do things I never thought possible because you only have one lifetime to live, and if you're not maximizing that opportunity you have on this earth, then what are you doing? Like what are you doing?
But
That's fair.
I was gonna say, and sometimes it gets you unstuck. Like you
Yes.
know, you're like
Sometimes.
looking at something and you're like, I don't know how to put this
It's a
together. And you
bullshit
just
trouble.
start
Yes.
throwing things in there, and I was
Yeah.
like, that's what I wanted.
Just a primer, right?
And
Exactly.
you can
Yeah,
Get you
exactly.
do more
started
with
and then
less.
Yes.
add
You
your
can,
details.
yes.
Exactly.
I'll give you a little bit more tactical response,
There we
not
go.
so up here in the Ethernet, but
See,
I was in one of the units in the Air Force that unboxed the first computer that we ever had.
oh,
I was at one of the units that in the Air Force that had email for the first units that had email.
So me and you are about the same age.
Not even close. Not even close.
It's like
And I know what those things have done over that time. And I believe AI is in a similar vein. And there are a lot of people who worried, if you go back to when computers came, what they thought, go back to when email. I remember people in our team room bitching about how many emails that were coming in, and they had to spend time looking at their email. But it made us so much more efficient and effective at what we were doing. And as a small business owner, growing business owner, like AI it gives me the opportunity to maximize the effectiveness of our people. And and right now I'm in a growth mode. We're tripling the size of my company. I'm not going from 25 to 900, but I'm going from 120 to 360, 400, something like that.
so good.
And those AI agents that we're having built will make us that much more efficient and effective.
So
Awesome.
what I've noticed over the last year of doing consulting is it's really the rise of the fractional market. So my friend is like a very senior level HR person. The HR role doesn't exist anymore. It's been replaced by AI.
Yeah.
But there really needs to be a human somewhere. So fractional HR, well, that's hot as fire right now.
Yeah.
Fractional go-to-market, fractional branding, fractional marketing, all that is hot. So companies like mine, companies like hers, we're about to make some real money, y'all, for the first time. And we're here for it,
I'm
right?
so ready.
Well, they've
So let
outgrown all
me-
those senior leaders, right? That's
Right.
part of what happens, right? You don't have a $300,000 a year enterprise
That's right,
architect
yes.
that's sitting around for
Right.
the 20 hours a month you
Waiting
need them.
for
You
work.
just need them
Right.
for the 20
Yep.
hours a month
Yep.
that you need them.
That
Yep.
part.
And then they're running around poking their nose in where
Yep.
they don't belong and justifying themselves and doing all the unintended things that happen. And it's
Exactly.
that the gig economy is coming to technology.
It's coming. The gig.
Yeah.
That's
business.
Yes.
that part. That actually nobody's ever said it like that, but that should be the title of this episode. The gig economy is coming to
Business.
business.
Yes.
That's why we
100%.
invited Jack.
I
Well, how about on
Got
that?
it. He's ready.
On that, so we can have dinner. Let me just kind of summarize what I took from this. The gig economy is coming to AI or to our.
To work in
To
general.
work in
I think
general.
all work is
But-
going to be fractional.
But what I pulled from
Yeah.
this conversation that surprised me, and I don't think I asked my questions. Which is great. But what I pulled from this is this whole AI conversation was actually about the human in the loop.
Yep.
And where the human so it's really about where the human is in the loop that we're all talking about. Now whether none of us know whether jobs will be made or destroyed or ultimately whatever, but I believe, and I'll just say this, that I believe ultimately that like we've seen over and over, there'll be greater opportunity for folks that embrace the new capability, and for those that don't, they'll struggle. And that's the way
Adapt to
it'll be.
survive.
Amen.
And speaking to my folks in particular, I love all of you, and you'll all be here forever. No, but my view of the world is ultimately true. Like I view this as an opportunity for my company to grow by leveraging these capabilities. But there are people that don't embrace these capabilities that may not be part of my company going forward if they're not in it to win it, if they're not in it with
Yeah.
me to do
Right.
this. And I
Yeah.
can't
That's right.
make them do it. It's their choice relative to that.
Yeah.
But my company of whatever number of people is going to be able to do more with less.
There
Yeah,
you go.
That's my
That's it.
choice.
Yeah.
The
There you
thing,
go.
the
Yeah.
thing
Right?
that
That's my
pisses
view of the world. But it doesn't have to be. I get that. But that's my view of the world. And I hope that's all
I mean,
your
I think
view of the
Yeah,
world.
the
as
thing
a
that pisses me
responsible
off
executive,
is-
that is your job. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
It's your job to ensure that that takes place. You can't, like I said before, it's like, oh, is the fire good? Is the wheel good?
But also,
yeah.
how are you going to keep your good people? You have to have a compelling reason for the people to stay with you that are good.
You better have
And
a
it
why.
needs to be very human centric. You better have in-person events. You better
Yeah.
entice them. You better pay them. You better appreciate them. And if you don't, your good people are going to go start companies. Like she said, they're going to go
Yes.
work for somebody that does do those things. And so it's really going to change everything to be more human
All
centric.
right, I propose then
Yeah.
that we wrap it here, and the conversation around dinner is, what do we do about all the people that are going to go start their own businesses, and how do we are we going to be like fight that, or are we going to help
You're
them?
going to bring them in.
Well,
Right.
I
got
got an opinion on that.
Those two people that are going to do amazing things.
All right, we're going to do this at dinner. You guys would like to hear more, maybe we'll record some of dinner. But if you guys like to hear more, please sign up for Failing Daily. And I'm going to try to convince all these folks to participate over the course of the year in a conversation. We'll talk about this more. So thank you, everybody, for listening.
Thanks.
All right.